A lot of people come to me and they say, I'm trying to raise funding for my idea, for my business. And I say, you know what? I'm not the right person for you to ask, but I will find the right person. And I think I have.
It's time to reinvent.
Welcome to the Lessons of Entrepreneurship, the journey of reinvention. Today, I have a special guest. It's incredibly late where he is, but he's here to give you some value. His name is Sergio Yankovenko. Sergio is a seasoned pitch deck consultant with over 8 years' experience. He has a portfolio of over 400 projects. He has helped startups raise more than $560 million in funding. Sergio, please introduce yourself. Let them know who you are and what's your mission.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me to this podcast. My name is Sergio, and I am the serious pitch deck consultant and creator. I have over 400 projects in my portfolio and about 9 years experience in this field. Probably we can connect and discuss if you have some questions.
I have an idea, but I also don't know what the process is for raising funds. You talked about from idea to Series A. Maybe you can give us a general overview of what the process of funding is about.
Generally, Series A, it's more about growing. If you already have the company and, for example, you already have clients and your startup is growing and you need some funding to make it bigger, to expand your coverage probably. So basically we have structure like an idea stage, pre-seed, seed, then round A, B, C, and continue. So this depends, and these rounds quite different and have quite different requests to founder, to startups to have them.
There's so many platforms now where I think there's a lot of crowdfunding and that kind of thing. And usually, if you're not in that world, you don't understand how to get into that. Perhaps if you can give us a story or just an idea before we jump right in.
The crowdfunding platform, it's mostly for startups and idea stage. If you wanted to build some product or maybe manufacture something and you have already the prototype, the crowdfunding platform offer you to just get a small investment for many people and to exchange to some rewards. For example, you can have some special price for your first investor. For example, you have an idea to create, I don't know, perfect bag, and you need money to manufacture. You create some first sample at your garage. You make some pictures, how it will be look like, and so on. But you need money to make manufacture because it's so expensive. For example, you need 100 or 1,000 items. And you go to crowdfunding platforms and then, okay, I will sell this bag for 200, but just for my early investment, it will be 100 and half. And mostly crowdfunding platform, it's quite easy, but you need attention. So you need to publish it to the social media, to any other platform to take attention to your product because it's really crowded market and so many projects not find their investor. You need to use some advertisement services and so on. This is quite complicated thing, but you able to easy come into it, simply register on platform and do the step-by-step guides. This depends on the platform.
Sounds like with the crowdfunding, because the barrier to entering that is so low, anyone can just go on there and put whatever they're wanting to raise funds for. You really have to market yourself to be able to stand out in that crowdfunding space, right?
Yeah, you need to market, you need to have probably your social media like Instagram and other platforms. To have some investment from crowdfunded platform, you need to have some audience already. Many startups, as I know, using some advertisement, so they create a campaign and invest to make attention to their potential product.
Sergio, share with us how to craft that perfect pitch for an investor. I'm interested to know one story of when it went awesomely right and one of when it went awesomely wrong.
Probably one story what was perfect pitch deck at the beginning of my career in this area. One founder, he went to the conference. We created the pitch deck during his flight to New York. And from my time, we did that almost all night. So we're working like online, just like with you. Okay, we need to add here and here. Let's make changes here. And his product was quite good. They raised about 10 millions in the first round, just to have only idea. This really good succeed.
What makes the difference with getting the funding and not getting the funding?
Okay. Probably the structure is quite standard. You can just find it. So you need to show your problem solution, your market, your product, and some your financials if you have them. Mostly important if you on the beginning of your way, you need to show your team. You need to prove to potential investors what the people who stand behind of your startup, not only people on the street, but it's great professional of each area. Actually, mostly important, you need to know how much you wanted to raise. I heard from many entrepreneurs, okay, I didn't know how much I needed, but I will discuss with investor. Investor not know how much money you need. And if you haven't this sum in your mind, it seems like you underprepared. You haven't any business plan and you don't know how much money you need to make your project happen. This is probably biggest mistake from startup founder.
Sometimes people say, oh, they invest in the person more than in the idea. You hear that a lot. And how much of that is actually true? What are they looking for in the person who's pitching?
Okay, this mostly about first stages like an idea stage. They looking for this project to really happen. You need to have this fire in your eye about your project. This also just funny. Some startup founders came to investor. Okay, I have this idea, but I still at regular job. I will do my project at the evening on the garage and I need money for it. The investor, okay, but this is not a business. This is just your hobby. And why I should give money to your hobby? Investor looking for people who have this fire and able to do this project 24/7 and make this project really happen and probably experience. You need to prove investor you really know what you're trying to build. So you need to show your experience in this area. For example, if you create some medtech project, just for example, you need to prove investor I have experience being a doctor 10 years or something like that. You should be noticed. You no need to be like regular person. Or if you can be good salesman, you should have in your team some good medical professionals. And investing in person, it's probably at stage before you haven't any MVP and haven't any client yet. So you need to prove the investors you not just burn their money.
You touched on so many things, just because you've got a great idea, that it's warranting of investment. And I'm so happy to have you here. Tell us how you got into that specific line of business. It's not a common thing.
Start my career like the regular designer, but with some business mind. Actually, my first client who I created some business card to him, and he also, okay, can you help me with pitch deck? Just help me design it. Agree. And I just take a look at his content and understand that this is not so logical. You need to add this stuff, and we start working on it. And they have first the investment, and probably it was my insight. My ideas are actually working. And I start to dive into this niche, just find some courses, find some education in the field, and then just working with clients and mostly a self-educated person because right now so many information in different sources about all these parts. You need to put everything together plus experience, and it was already 9 years ago. Many projects was really successful. I have proven track record, so my ideas actually work.
With the first one, you were looking at their content. So I'm assuming that you should have something in terms of content out there. And what is it that you're looking for where you said there were things missing? There was no logic in it.
Firstly, when I start working with the client, I create some interview. I ask the question about the project, and for example, you can have great idea, but you don't know which problem you're trying to solve. You can have the problem and idea, but you not do any market research, and you don't know you have competitor in this area. Maybe your neighbor create just the same but much cheaper. If you underprepared, I see what you already have and help you in this, maybe fill in the gap. I try to ask if you know some parts, some details, because mostly startup founders have this kind of messy in his mind, and I try to bring it to line. Just okay, this part, and then I see okay, we have everything, but we haven't some remarkable thing what highlight us from the competitors. We can do some maybe think otherwise, make some pivot, change our technology to maybe different area, and so on. This is some kind of continuous process.
I'm thinking that if it's idea stage, there's a lot of work to be done to really bring all those parts together so that you can be able to create that perfect pitch. Now, we've talked about the preparation of it. Now, talking about the actual pitch, you have the deck in hand. What does the deck look like?
Probably this is standard presentation with 10, 15 slides in it. It's mostly not so long, and you have some script, and you just message the investors and make the call. This is actually not my area because I'm not response to connect with actual investors. So I can bring to, okay, you can find investor in this context, but I not make the actual investment happen, and I not schedule call with investors. So this should do the CEO.
You help them prepare the pitch. You help them to have something that is not messy. You've thought about everything from the market research to what's unique to what are other people doing out there to really how can this be logical for you, the CEO, the founder, to go in and look for the investor and to see if you can be able to get that funding. I'm interested to know that from the startups that you have helped raise a lot of money, some tips for the listener.
Probably need to find this balance, be on the cloud and stay grounded. You can bring to investors some beautiful picture of your project, but you need that data should be maximum proved as possible. Because right now in AI era, many startup founders just go to OpenAI, for example, go to ChatGPT and okay, bring me some market research. And actually AI can create it, but this without any proofs. I speak with some investors and they, okay, person came to me and I will have this project in billion market. Investor ask, okay, where you take this data? And here is stop point because the CEO can't answer where he take this data and how he do his research, and this number the fake to potential investor.
It's very interesting because some of these tools that we use to speed up the process, a lot of it has got to do in that preparation stage is where the perfect pitch is going to come from. We say have a lot of data, but what does have a lot of data look like? If you can be more specific.
You need to have a lot of data about your project, but in actual pitch, it shouldn't be more than a couple of slides with this data. All this data you can put in your business plan, and if investor interested to work with you, can ask, okay, I have your pitch, this is quite interesting, but can you show me your business plan? And it would be some 100 pages Word file with all detailed explanation where you take money from and where you find clients. You need to be prepared to answer potential question what investor can ask. For example, in my process after clients working with me, I give some prepared about 300 potential questions with terms what investor can ask to you on the actual meeting. And because potential investor, they interested in just two things about risk and returns, how much they need to invest in your project and how much they can get back and how high the risk to lose their investment. And in this area, you need to be maximum prepared. What happened if your project not find the client? What you do in this case? How you handle, for example, if you can't find correct professional inside of your team? How you will find some employees to your startup? And all these questions, what you need to be maximum prepared.
Very interesting. I almost feel as if the best time to look for investment is after you've established some kind of core product, at least, or minimum viable product. What has been your experience, Sergey, just in terms of the success rate of you have an idea, or maybe you have a core product, or just to increase the probability that you get that funding?
This depends how much you want to rise in your first, for example, an idea stage. Because I met some founders who just have this unrealistic expectation. They just, okay, have nothing yet. I have only idea, but I want 2 million, 5 million. And I believe I find investor who give me that money. But no. For example, if you haven't any MVP right now, you can expect, for example, this type of angel investor who invest about 10, 20K up to 100K maximum, what you can expect to build MVP and find a couple first client. So this type of person, they invest in a lot of different startups, just expecting one of them happen. So in this case, the investment rate pretty high if you would, as I said at the beginning, you need to clearly understand how much you want to raise and which condition you to offer to investor. Because investor, it's mostly finance people. So for example, if you, okay, I want 20,000 to investment and I give you only 10% of my company. The investor can calculate if you give me only 10 and you think your project cost this one. Why do you think your project's so costly right now? You haven't anything yet. And you need to explain the investor why you have some difference from your potential competitors, like direct or indirect, for example, because all ideas right now already created, we can only combine different pieces in different way.
Such an interesting world. It's great to have someone like you give people insight into how to do these things. I'm interested to know, Sergio, at what point should someone approach you? What are you expecting to see when you want to work with someone?
Mostly we should have the call and I ask what stage I can take the person with idea and move with him step by step. Some clients already have, for example, designer in the team, need to help only with the content part. Some person already have the ready pitch deck, but need help with script. Or maybe some person just wanted to ask the feedback. For example, you already have the pitch deck, you already have everything. We can, for example, make a call and I take a look, like from investor side, where is the problem in your pitch? You can be less confident, for example. You can don't know some answers to some questions and so on. So this quite long process, but I start working with clients at any stages. So I'm not expecting some specific, for example, I working with, if you already have MVP or if you already have the clients and so on. So I start working with clients at any stages. You can have only idea and I can walk with you through all this process, what you need to find out, what you need to know, and I can help you make your investment happen.
Thank you so much, Sergio. It's been great hearing how this whole process works. The investor's interested in the risk and in the return. Maybe if you can throw out two questions that are common that will get someone's mind turning if they're thinking of this process.
One question is why the market needs your product. So you need to answer this question, and probably second it would be how you make it happen. You should have solid plan on it.
Thank you. I like that a lot. Check in the description link. I'll put his Calendly where you can book a 15-minute meeting with him. But if they'd like to just follow sort of your work, and is there somewhere where they can do that?
I was pretty active at LinkedIn account, so you can just find by my name, and I post content about pitch decks almost daily. So you can go to my page and read and connect with me there. You can find some samples of my work and many other stuff what can help you be maximum prepared as you can.
Thank you so much. Now, it wouldn't be fair to let you go before I ask you this. The story behind the most successful pitch that raised the most money, if you can.
Mostly successful project what I've worked so far, it was some marketplace for handymans, for landlords. You can just go to the special app, order some help with anything inside of your building. And they built this application. After we work on the pitch deck, they raised about $250 million in the first round. So it's
Oh,
so far mostly successful project. You can find it in my portfolio and read more, or you can ask me directly.
that's amazing. Now, if you've done a pitch and it hasn't been successful, what's the talk like? What's the next thing?
You make the pitch, and if your first pitch wasn't successful, you can expect the feedback from the potential investors. You can ask something, okay, you're not investing in my project, but can you help me? And mostly investors, some open-minded person, they tell you, okay, I have lack of market research. You need to expand your team, or what doubts they have about your project, and you need to try another one before you actually find your guy, because I can compare like dating maybe. So you need to try many times where you find your person.
Thank you for that. It's so important to be mentally prepared for what it's really going to take for you to raise the funds.
You need to be prepared. If you have your perfect pitch, it wouldn't be like, okay, I go to first investor and they just right away give me as much money as I need. They also want to find the best deal what they can find. Potential investor get at his email about 20 to 50 different pitch deck per month. You can expect what some offer can be better, some offer can be worse from the investor side. And you need to find the right investor in right area. For example, you can just go to Crunchbase, for example, and find, okay, I see this investor, Some of them invest only in the medtech. Someone investing only in crypto project. Someone invests in different areas. So you can take a look their portfolio and understand how much they good to actual your project. And this is probably no one can give you 100% guarantee this investor actually gives you money. This is quite complicated. I like the compare with some kind of dating market. If you working with some professional who prepared you to maybe dating agency, they can't guarantee you what this date can be like one-time offer, and they just make many of them happen, and doing continuously you can find your person.
Are you a crypto person or have you worked with crypto startups?
I'm not really crypto person, but yes, I'm working with some crypto projects. It's not so many because I'm really picky about the crypto project because many of them look like a regular scam. In my personal opinion, I'm not working with any scammers, or when I see the project look like fully fake, I just not working with them. In my portfolio about 5 or 7 crypto project. This is not so much. Mostly my project is some kind of application, some kind of SaaS product, and probably mostly in this area. But yeah, I work in some crypto.
That's incredible. I could talk to you forever, Sergio, but it'll be morning on your end and you need to rest. I appreciate your coming on the podcast and really giving the audience this information. Please, this is what it is to pitch your idea. If you need help, you need someone who has been through it, who can spot where you need help. Sergio, thank you so much. Please follow him, learn more about it, and connect with him to meet with him. Thank you so much, Sergio.
Thank you for having me.